Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And that bad boy starts with defeating the Kamala Walls ticket to take our gun rights forevermore, but we will stop them and just save ourselves some time. What I'm about to show you right now is literally an implosion of gun control questioning by a journalist who the clouds parted and asked an actual hard question to Kamala Harris, and she stumbled like she tripped over, I don't know, something. It's something trippy. But wow, this is a bad one. This is something you're going to need to send out to every single person that you know. Of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and guys, do not be victimized, taken advantage of, hoodwinked. This guy, the YouTube algorithm, he is out there perusing YouTube channels who are not checking their subscriptions to unsubscribe you, interrupting your prescription of freedom, which is deadly and very concerning. So make sure he does not have his way with your subscription. It's still turned on because, believe it or not, it happens in the dark. So don't be in the dark. And make sure you check that out. And now, let's get to the luminary, the visionary, the most amazing politician that's ever existed, the person who has all the answers, Kamala Harris, or at least that's what the media has told us. Of course that's not true. I'm being sarcastic. Let's get into this because she does not like when a journalist asks her a follow-up because she gets a little bit snippy. All right, let's get into it. This is going to be one you guys need to send out because, oh, baby, I'm just going to stop it when it's the right time.
Madam Vice President, I'm switching gears again. Quick question. I want to talk to you about gun control. So you've said you support an assault weapons ban and universal background checks, and we actually learned during the debate that you are a gun owner. But in cities like Philadelphia, handguns are responsible for most homicides and violent crime. The most recent FBI data shows handguns were involved in 59% of murders in our country. How will you address the issue of the use of handguns? Because a push for an assault weapons ban only addresses a significant but small part of the problem.
All right, so before we get to the word salad chef herself, because she's about to trip all over herself, and the journalist actually goes in and interrupts her, which mind-bogglingly just makes my mind go boggled. Particularly on gun control, she actually just said handguns are a main part of the problem, but you don't talk about handguns. That's weird. You only want to ban assault weapons, but that's a small percentage of all the violence that's committed in our nation. Why? Of course, you watching this know the answer to that question. The answer to that question is quite simple. Because if they talk about banning handguns, they look like extreme tyrants who want to take your gun rights. And everything that gun rights activists and gun rights channels like this one are telling you, well, from their own words, are actually true. But they can't have that. So she's got to pivot away and listen to this exchange. You're going to love every second of this one.
So, first of all, yes, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz is a gun owner, and we're not trying to take anybody's guns away from them. But we do need an assault weapons ban.
I own guns. Tim owns guns. We're not going to take anybody's guns away, but we do need to take them away. My, that was a quick shift in the same sentence, or the same breath. Let's go.
Assault weapons are designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Yes,
and
and
have
assault
no
weapons
place,
and
have
yes.
no place. I'm going to get to it.
Yes.
And
Oh,
have no place on the streets of a civil society. We need universal background checks, which, to your point about handguns, is about saying that it is just reasonable to want reasonable gun safety laws that say we should do background checks that we ought to know. It's just reasonable. You might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon. If they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others, you might just want to know.
And respectfully, we do understand that.
But you're asking
Yes.
about.
I'm
you're
asking specifically about handguns because many of those handguns aren't
universal
purchased in
background
places.
checks
Yes.
apply to handguns.
all right, you catching the snippiness? She does not like being questioned. She does not like being called when she's dodging that question. Tim and I were talking about this on Second Legacy. You need to check that channel out, by the way. It's called Second Legacy, me and Tim. It's an extremely hilarious, amazing exchange all the time. It's always a party. But Tim brought something up very interesting. This is actually more of an insult to her because the media is not doing the lapdog work for her. We're talking about handguns. We're talking about rifles. Rifles account for less deaths in the United States per year than hands and feet and fists. So, just so you know, the thing they're focusing on is less than hands and feet in the statistics put out by the FBI. This journalist knows that. She's coming out and saying, well, why aren't you saying anything about handguns? That's the vast majority of where the crime is. They're purchased illegally. Harris is going back to universal background checks. All of a sudden, she shifted from banning assault weapons to now we need universal background checks on everything. You need to understand every single person before they buy any type of gun, which is a lethal weapon. She didn't say assault rifle or assault style weapon. She's now transitioning into firearms broadly. She doesn't like the fact that this journalist is actually holding her feet to the fire. And quite honest, I'm kind of waiting for God to open up the skies and lightning to strike because this is so rare. But anyway, let's keep going. I mean, let's just keep going. And Tim, by the way, the thing I was saying about Tim thinks that the woman wanted to ban all handguns. That's her angle. She wasn't a gun rights activist. She's like, get rid of all of them. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yes.
They do.
But in
And
many instances, those handguns aren't even bought lawfully. Yes.
Which is why I also have been very adamant for years. In fact, I myself protested at a gun show probably 10, 15 years ago about the gun show loophole and why we need to close that. Because what ends up happening is that gun shows at flea markets, gun dealers are not, under existing law in the past, required to register their sales. And so you are exactly right that a lot of homicides, for example, a good number of them, I have the statistic in front of my mind, are committed with illegally purchased guns. And that's why we...
Well, hold on a second. They're committed with illegally purchased guns. So this is something else that Tim and I had a conversation. And Tim from Military Arms Channel, if you are wondering who I'm referencing. So it's illegal handguns. And then we shift to the well-known trope that is the gun show loophole from the gun controllers. Here's a little tip for you guys watching out there in the internet spaces, freedom-loving people across this nation. If you're in a conversation with a gun controller and they have a feeling of unease and they get really uncomfortable, they always go back to the gun show loophole. Now, in this case, Kamala Harris is just word salading all over the place, and she's just speaking mistruths. There's never been a time where gun dealers did not have to do a 4473 background check from the FBI, even at a gun show. The director of the ATF, Steve Dettelbach, even said to Congress, Thomas Massie, about 6 months ago, there is no gun show loophole. It has never existed. Their director of the ATF, her administration. So this whole game of going back to a gun show loophole is just that. It is a game. When they are losing, they go back to that one because it's such a comfortable area for them. Let's continue because she indeed just said most handguns are purchased illegally. That's weird. I wonder what a remedy is for that.
Need to address each entry point in the issue, including universal background checks, closing the gun show loophole, and what we need to do as a general matter to focus not only on reaction to crime, but prevention of crime. So you're raising a very important issue that has many facets.
All right. It has many facets, guys. Many, many facets. There's so many important things. And now it's no longer just about guns. Did you notice that shift? The word salad's going to different directions. Now we're getting some dressing. So you're not talking about guns anymore. And all of a sudden it was assault weapons bans, but then it was the illegal handguns. Then it was the handguns. Then it was the gun show loopholes. Well, now it's about crime, about preventing crime, and then getting in front of crime, and then making crime never happen. Because if we never made it happen, it never happens. Guys, this is literally someone who is not qualified to have a conversation on something that she champions. She doesn't even know that gun shows have background checks on the gun purchases from gun dealers. She doesn't even know that. What she's trying to reference is individual sales, me to you, or me to my sister, or me to my father. That's what she's trying to reference, but she's failing miserably. And it's on a national stage. This was one of the worst interviews she's done yet, and she's just now starting. Let's continue.
Including what we need to do in terms of reasonable gun safety laws and what we need to do around crime prevention, what we need to do around crime deterrence. But listen, I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I've held them up.
Hard shift into emotion right now. Hard shift.
Come to me crying, who have said, I only want to talk to Kamala because they knew when they sat down, I would treat them with the dignity and respect that they were entitled and due about the loss of their child, often their son, to gun violence and the need to take it seriously. And we must take it seriously. in every way, understanding it's not just about a soundbite. It's about a comprehensive approach that deals with the tragedy of, to your point, everyday gun violence in America. It's real. It has had a profound impact in terms of trauma that, for the most part, has gone undiagnosed and untreated. The trauma that exists in communities around the violence of losing their children, losing a brother, losing a father, an uncle. All of that must be addressed, and we have to have a holistic response to
Are
it.
there things we haven't thought about yet?
All right, I don't want to. The things we haven't thought about yet is just a stupid point. I don't want to deal with it. All right, so now we're going to hard shift into emotion. And again, I just laid out for you where this is going on this, on just a general overall overview of starts with handguns, starts with assault rifles. They're illegal. So then we got to universal background checks. Then we got to shift to gun show loopholes. Then we got to shift to crime. Then we got to shift to trauma of crime. Then we got to shift to trauma of crime of guns. Guys, this is a joke. She's not even speaking factually. And it's an emotional word salad. You just saw the most recent word salad. This time it just happened to be sprinkled with 9 mils and 380s. But good Lord. Man. Is it 50 days from here yet? Is it November 6th? I can't wait to see what happens. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Guys, let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.